And we're live. Welcome back, everyone. I am just over the moon to do this introduction today. The ladies that you are getting ready to hear from, I feel just absolutely honored that I've been connected with them through Boncosi Horn, who is the owner of Freedom Apothecary in Philadelphia. She will be joining us tomorrow. But she, through social media, introduced me to these women and their work. And I was just so excited when they agreed to come to Richmond, Virginia and speak to us on our stage when we were still planning our in-person event. And I remember our first conversation when we were talking about what we were really looking for, what we wanted you to bring to us. And I shared with you that inclusion and diversity has always been something we've wanted to incorporate in our program, but we had never intentionally addressed racial inequities in any specific conversation. It was always something we were hoping we were modeling for others to follow, but we never spoke to it specifically. So I had invited you to be the first to be on our stage, and I could never in a bajillion years predicted that the world turned and make this conversation. You can't make it more important because it was always this important, but I'm really grateful for the openness that I think people have to having these conversations now, whereas even a few months ago, I felt we were introducing this new concept to people. And now the concept is not new for anyone, thank goodness. So I feel like the universe and together to bring this conversation forward. So to introduce them officially, Aurora Archer and Kelly Kroesorg are here from the Op, and they are besties who have conversations about inequity on racial fronts, on gender minorities, all of the people who are marginalized and continue to be pushed to the margins. They are bringing them front and center. So without further ado, I will let these two engage in a conversation that honestly we are all blessed to be able to witness. So thank you to both of you for being here.
We love you, Shan.
We love you. Thank you so much for having us. So, hello, everyone. We are absolutely delighted to be here with you today. My name is Aurora Archer. I'm an Afro-Latina. My pronouns are she, her.
Hi, all. I'm Kelly Kroesorg. I go by she and her, and I am white.
And together, Kelly and I are best friends, and we are co-hosts
of The Opt-In.
The Opt-In, an important task for all of us at this moment in time. So we'll begin the way Kelly and I begin all of our conversations, with the intention of going deep.
So if we could just ask all of you at this time to take 3 of the deepest breaths you've taken yet today.
We would love to welcome and thank all of our Black sisters and brothers and all of our IPOC sisters and brothers. Thank them for the sacrifice, the century of sacrifice and work of their bodies, of their families, of their children, to help us all universally arrive at this moment of awakening as well as reckoning. We invite and welcome our white sisters and brothers to this moment of accountability. We ask all of our angels, all of our guides, all of our highest selves to come together for the intention today, which is the manifesting of the remembering that all is one.
And so it is.
And so it is. Hey, boo.
Hey, friend. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling a lot better than I have been.
Mm.
It's been shitty. It's been heavy. It's been hard. It's brought up a lot of the historical trauma. And it's also been hopeful.
Mm.
Hopeful that this is the time, this is the period that so many of us have been yearning for, have been working towards, striving for, screaming for, yelling for, dying for. So there's a part of me that also knows, like, this is exactly where we're all supposed to be in this moment in time. And it kind of reminds me of where we were 2 years ago. How are you feeling?
Right now, I feel good. I feel like, let's go. Because I do. I remember that time. I remember 2 years ago. I actually don't remember when you handed me the book, White Fragility, but I do remember reading it and my whole world just flipping upside down and coming to a really quick realization and shock of everything that I knew to be true was not.
Yeah.
And that cognitive dissonance, like, takes a little bit. And you can go a lot of different directions with that. You can numb it, you can consume it, you can deny it, you can
shop it.
You can eat it, you can drink it, you can work it out, you can, there's a lot of stuff you can do with that. Besides sit with it. My trauma lies in perfectionism. So I went right down the rabbit hole 2 years ago, and only 2 years ago, mind you. Okay. Like, for 38 years, Black and brown women have done bodies of work. Hundreds of years they've done bodies of work. And for 38 years, I did not listen and I did not hear them.
And that was the moment, right? Because everyone always asks, for those of you that may not know our story, after the election, I think many of the Black and brown bodies in this world were not tremendously surprised at who ended up being our 45th president. Because we had been screaming and talking about there is no post-racial America. It's just not happening, because we were experiencing it in the version of our life, right? And White Fragility came out, and I bought 25 copies of the book and handed it out with love, but with the ask to do better. Of my white girlfriends and some former colleagues. And to be very honest, some of those people never called me back.
Yeah.
But you did.
Yeah. There was, I realized quickly that there was a large bodies of work that I was quickly trying to catch up on. And I was like, whoa, other privileged white women probably don't know this. If I'm just finding this out now, maybe that's egotistical to think, but I was like, if I'm just finding this out now, and I'm a curious person, and a self betterment person, working on my body or my diet or my mind or my, meditation practice, whatever it is, But then I wasn't looking under this entire boulder of white supremacy that was guiding every single thing in my life, my identity, my whole thought process. Then I was missing something greatly. And a lot of people very well could have been also. So you were gracious and open enough to want to hear what I was learning about. And so we were able to have conversations that were way deeper than the conversations we were having as besties.
And I think that's really interesting, Kelly, because I think that we yearn to have deeper conversations. And I think we are having them as women of color, as Black women, with our white colleagues. But I think we're having it and you guys are not listening.
No, I think I was operating on a very surface level.
Yeah.
Because I could.
Yeah.
Because of the comfort of my privileges and, the choice to decide to go deeper or not. And so I realized that as our conversations got deeper, we kind of are dreamers and realists, and we were like, well, maybe we should supersize this and just have these conversations and see maybe if we could help be a conduit for privileged white women to understand that opting in is a day by day thing.
It's a minute by minute thing.
Yeah.
And it's a minute by minute thing for you. It's a minute by minute thing. And it's an option for you that you have to stay diligent about. And I'm saying you, in the spirit of saying white
for
people,
sure,
white women.
For sure.
And I think this is what's, you and I talk about this. This is the disconnect, right?
Yeah.
That is my world. You get to pop into that world or not at your choice and leisure. And I think that this moment is asking of white people to step into this world, into the reality of our world. But you have to be diligent about it.
Yeah. Yes. It's, and there's a discomfort right now amongst white women because they see and feel the heat and the pressure and the outrage and the trauma and the like, where have you been? And I just want to say, I feel like we need to look at that. Like, we are being entrusted by Black women who have done this work and teach this work to pay attention and sit with our discomfort and learn and listen.
Yeah.
Because we just haven't. And the first thing everybody wants to do is, what do I do? Meanwhile, we were the people saying we didn't have enough time to do this before. And like, there is no time. Like, we have to do it now.
You do. You absolutely do. And it's one of the biggest things that I say to a lot of my Black and brown sisters. Rest.
Yes, please.
Rest. We have been doing this work. We have been doing this work for the benefit of all of our white brothers and sisters. And we have been doing this work in the healing process of ourselves. You guys are just beginning it right now.
Yeah.
Because I say to people, we're all affected by white supremacy. There is not one thing, listen to me well, there is not one thing that is not permeated with white supremacy culture. It's in me. It not only affected me, but it is in me. And one of the biggest things that I had to do through therapy, through counseling, through support and community is to find my worthiness, my enoughness in the trapping, in the veil of white supremacy, and then also not use those master's tools.
That's a tall order.
And you very well know, like, that still worked for me. Because when I get to a place of scared and survival, it's easy to go back to those tools.
Yeah.
The tools of fear, the tools of separation, and the tools of scarcity. Those three tools, those three components are embedded in so much of our white supremacist culture. And so sit, sit, with the discomfort. I was sharing that for those folks that are mothers, or at least have heard stories of, I think one of the most amazing miracles on the planet Earth is a woman's ability to give birth. Mm-hmm. We are in the contraction phase.
Oh,
that's what is happening. We are in the contractions. They are coming on. They are strong. They are hard. They are jolting every aspect of your body. And there's no fucking anesthesia.
Mm-hmm. And we got to breathe through it. And trust and surrender that in following and listening, we're going to get to the other side. We're going to get to a place we haven't been yet in the United States ever.
No. But, I think part of what you were talking about is that numbing and the distraction and the this, and let me go do that. It's like, okay. And sit with it.
Yeah.
Because sitting with that pain, sitting with that discomfort becomes the pathway to a much greater understanding of your ownership of these characteristics, the white supremacist characteristics, so that you can start to dismantle them within yourself and within every area of influence that you have, so that you can help birth the new life. You can help birth our new world.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. I mean, this is our work to do because we have so much to do. And it's not now, right now. And so like kind of the three pillars that we kind of talk about that are always circulating. And if you're not doing one, you're doing the other. If you're not doing one, you're doing the other, is understanding that white supremacy is within all of us and within me. So it's within me that I can start my change process. It's not, I have to go run and do something else. Like it is. And that's like been recently where I literally turned to you and was like, every word I say and every action I do, if unconscious, is fueled by a white supremacist culture.
Yeah.
No matter what. Even now, even right now, even me being on camera with you right now, like everything. So there's that, it's within me, and it's within me to dismantle first, along with the racial literacy of relearning history, unlearning the history that we were taught, the whitewashed bullshit history we were taught.
Yep.
Learning the real history, learning the real bodies of work, learning all the different, there's just the breadth of toolkits, of books, of podcasts, films, documentaries. You name the media you like, it's there. You name the area of work you like, it's there.
It's there.
It's there. This is not.
And it's been there. It's
been there. And there's more coming at every minute. And I am not the teacher. I never will be. I am here as a lifelong student. And it's so that is happening. So as we're dismantling within ourselves, we are becoming racially literate at all the time. And that both of those things can cause a lot of burnout.
Yes.
And so then the stamina comes in. And you're one person that has taught me a lot about stamina in a lot of ways. Sometimes I think unhealthy ways. But stamina nonetheless.
But
yeah,
this is
the
my
balance.
Unpeeling.
Yeah.
Right?
This is our tempering. Yeah.
Is this constant productivity.
Right.
Because guess what me and my people do?
Work.
We work. And we've worked and a huge part of that work generations. And we've tapped, was to help you.
No,
to support you.
Exactly. My perception of work is I want to get to a place where I don't have to work that hard and make a lot of money. That's the running, tape in my brain. I would love a cleaning lady, shit like that. Like all of that is fueled by these ancestral traumas, programming. Like you use the word robotic and I'm like, yes, we are programmed. Like,
And so to the point of stamina.
yeah.
The thing is, and this is so critical, is this is not a sprint. This is not a sprint. This is the longest freaking marathon you've ever signed up for.
Yeah. Yeah. And we white women, we've all been there. We've trained for the marathons. We've done the Spartan races. We've done the yoga teacher trainings, the 300 hour, the 400 hour, the 500 hour. I mean, we know what it's like to commit time and effort to something, to change something within ourselves, to learn something that we've never learned before. And then what do we do when we burn out? You rest and you opt back in, and you rest and you opt back in. It's quite simple, really.
And I want to touch on something that, we talk about, sort of this parallel and continuous wheel. And I want to go back to the beginning, because I want to say something that I think is critical. It's owning it.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Owning it. Because most of us, Black people, IPOC people, we have spent an inordinate amount of time. We have spent centuries having this discussion and debating with you. And the good news, bad news about everything that's happening, the debate is over. And I'm not here to entertain any nuances of it. I'm not here to entertain any, what if
outliers?
Nope. If the reckoning that is happening has not made you abundantly clear that the beast we are talking about is white supremacy culture, and the characteristics and behaviors that embody it, support it, feed it, perpetuate it, then I need you to sit down, and I need you to Google the hell out of stuff. Those days are over.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the cognitive dissonance I can remember of that wasn't my people. We were immigrants just a generation ago. We were hardworking, low middle class. We were all the excuses, but that couldn't be me. All my ancestors were that.
Well, you know the one I remember?
What?
Well, there's several, but I remember the one where when I chose to leave corporate America, because I had it.
Yes.
And you were a great supporter in that end, but you kept giving me advice based on your beloved dad.
Yes, I know, you're correct.
And I would just sit there and I would give you a couple of instances, but it's hard, right? It's your dad.
Looking
and
back.
I love your dad. I love your dad.
No, I know. But looking back, yes.
And I was like,
Yeah. And then it wasn't too long after that that I did more of my homework and realized that my dad would very well likely not be anywhere near what he did in his business life if he were not white. There's just no way. In fact, he'd probably be in prison. And that took me a long time to reckon with, because I felt like I was betraying him, and I felt shameful about it. And I felt like I was turning on him. And that's like a visceral, tie in your life. And the beautiful part is that I'm very fortunate that he has come to some sort of awakening of his own to know that, that's exactly the case. And all the advantages and things that I had growing up, it took me a long time to realize that the same advantages I had were the same disadvantages that you had. And like that is an ugly, ugly feeling, especially with somebody that you're close with and you love. And it's like a side you don't want to show them of yourself. It's like, I don't want you to know that about me. I don't want you to think that I'm better than you, or that I got more, that I don't deserve to be here, or that everyone thinks like I'm a terrible person, you know? And it's like, well, actually, yeah, kind of are terrible people. Like we probably could be better humans.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone's so concerned about being a good person. And it's like, nobody's concerned with being human.
And that's girl. Girl, you know that's my boat. Like
you taught me the word humanity. I'm not going to lie. That was not used like quite often. Probably taught me the word accountability too. Taught me a lot of words and a lot of things. But you have to be ready to hear it, you know? I mean, when the student's ready, the teacher emerges, you know?
And so that brings up a couple of things for me, but I want to I do want to wrap up this thing about the ownership, because I think in that ownership, the ownership is the ownership of what the issue and the problem is.
Yes.
Because I think we can go off and start running towards, well, I'm going to go fix bias. I'm going to go fix, and it's like, yes. And please understand that those are all connected to a white supremacy culture. And until we articulate that, see that, and own it within ourselves and excavate it within ourselves, every single thing that we will touch or we will create will still come from that place of not understanding that is the core and the root of the problem.
And what are we even saying? Like when we say white supremacy, right? Like I like to go with the shortest history of America that I now use, which is stolen land, stolen people. And then everything was birthed out of that. So every seed, everything that was made, every person, everything that came out of it is with that intention. And so there's that. And then white supremacy cultural characteristics are all the things that we are also familiar with, but they don't sound wrong, I guess, at the time.
Well, because they're normalized.
They're so normal.
They're normal. This is the
competition,
whiteness.
Yeah. Perfectionism, niceness, non-confrontation, be number one, do the best, faith in the word, hierarchy of human value, period. End of story.
We're going to talk about that one.
Period. Hierarchical human value is like, that's the opposite of humanity. That's the opposite.
Yes. And this is one you and I talk about a lot, because, when I handed out that book, my biggest, I had all these girlfriends and all these colleagues, and people are dying left and right. And again, nothing new for Black and Brown and Indigenous people. Been observing, witnessing, attending grievances, grief, funerals, all of that. But somehow that notion of seeing the loss of life happen at the profound rates that it has been was not affecting you guys. I mean, we talked about this candidly. I know exactly where I was when Eric Gardner was murdered and killed literally in front of our eyes.
Yeah, and I couldn't remember the day. I couldn't remember where I was.
Trayvon, like, go through the list. Sandra, go through the list. And so the part that breaks my heart, and I'm going to go back to a mom analogy, is that you line up a wall, two perpendicular walls, one of Black mothers and one of white children. And I promise you that there is not a Black, brown, Indigenous mother that is not going to step in front of that child to ensure that no harm comes to them. That's the bottom line. That's the humanity piece. And that's when I said to you, Kelly, like, I would do that for your kids in a second. I would take that bullet. I would take that harm. Like, I wouldn't even have to think about it. And you love me. But would you do the same for my children?
Now, yes. But I can't say a couple of years ago.
And that is what we're asking white people to get to.
Yeah.
Sit with the feelings, get to that place of knowing your humanity so that you can get to knowing and seeing my humanity.
Bingo.
And so when we talk about the work, that's the work.
Mm-hmm.
Because I firmly believe we can't give other people what we fundamentally don't give ourselves. And that's love.
Yeah.
That's a humanity based, encapsulated in love. Where you are me and I am you.
Yeah. It makes me think of Amy Cooper.
Yeah. Girl.
I know. Because when I saw the video, I have to say, when I saw the video and I saw everything she did was wrong. When I saw her face, I was like, wow, she's really fearful of this man for no reason. And I'm like, wow, could that have been me if I didn't do my work? Could that have been my friends? Could that have been my sister-in-law? Could that have been, and that didn't feel far away.
Because she's not far away.
And you could see the lack of love in Amy Cooper. You could see the lack of love for herself in Amy Cooper. And you could see that ripple out, you know? And we all know Amy Coopers, and we all are Amy Coopers in our own way. And we all know 5 people that we affect very deeply every day. And if we're not doing our work, we're not seeing a Black woman as a figure in charge. And if we're not doing our work, our white sons are acting like fools with no consequence or ramification or awareness. And if we're not doing our work and we just want to go back to sleep, we are dangerous and violent and more cut off and more separate, so we allow more evil. So yeah, it's, spoiler alert, it's a spiritual practice.
That's it. Say that again.
Spoiler alert, it's a spiritual practice.
Yeah, that's exactly what the journey is. And, you know, for all...
Can I add one more thing in there? So when we're sitting in our yoga mat, like narcissistically thinking about all of our shit that we think we're supposed to be sitting there thinking about, we got to kind of like open the aperture wider, right? Like it's so easy to go, I want to get this divorce. I want to, you know, my kids and I aren't talking and you know, there's all this stuff. Guess what? It all stems from the same source. You know, and there's a lot more we need to be thinking with about sitting with, doing, learning, listening. And it's, here we go.
Here we go.
And luckily, 2 years ago, we thought it'd be a great idea to build an ark in our backyard with whatever sticks and stones and glue and tape that we could get together. And we were putting this person on the ark because we thought people are going to need this. And then we were putting this person on the ark because we were like, people are going to really need this. Then with this person on the ark, why people are really going to need this? And everyone kind of thought I was nuts.
And everyone thought I was.
Did they?
Okay. Because everyone's like, why are you helping all the white people? Why are you having this? Why are you re-traumatizing yourself?
Yeah,
why
true,
are you
yeah.
taking money out of your pocket to create a podcast and a set of tools and an offering? And more importantly, like sharing the experience.
Sharing the experience and directing towards the wisdom
And
that
directing towards
know
wisdom,
is there.
There's so much wisdom that's out there.
So anyway, it flooded. And everyone's like, wow, good thing you built that boat, right? Like, so if anyone's wondering where to start, we have 23 shows already recorded of the opt-in that was really, unbeknownst to us, just perfect for this moment.
Yeah. I actually think beknownst to us, Kelly, right? Because we knew.
Yes.
We
true.
knew the intention. The
True.
intention was to wake up.
Yes.
The intention was to stop brown and black bodies from dying. The intention was to call the beast by its name and to own it within ourselves and to own it within the spheres of influence that we have.
And to start feeling so that we were doing things not on behalf of ourselves and my own, but for the greater good of all humanity, ourselves included.
Because, that reminds me, there's two things. One, it's a service to self
mentality,
or the service to others.
Mm-hmm.
And it also reminds me of our great conversation that we had with Heather McGee.
Oh, yes.
So if you guys don't know, please look her up. She has a phenomenal TED Talk out there. She is an incredible human being. She heads up Davos. She sits on the board of Color for Change. And now I lost my train of thought.
So listen to Heather McGee's episode.
That racism impacts
all of us.
All of us.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a hard one for white people to get.
Yeah. Her book's coming out soon. It's called The Sum of Us, I think. Like SUM. So yeah. And so we do that work because the impact is not just on saving my life and the lives of brothers and sisters that look like me, but it actually saves your life. Yes. And brings you to a place. Yeah, I was going to say part of the show is really the love letter to my friends and family to say, you don't have to look far. Like, just look in your own history. Just look in your own life. Just look in your own backyard. Just look. It's right there. It's all right there, And we spent 23 shows just showing you every angle we possibly could that like you can't hide. Like it's everywhere. Yeah. And we are all affected and we are all a part of it.
We all a part of it. And I'm going to also add, and we're not going to get through this birthing by ourselves.
We're not going to get through by ourselves. And I do feel like it's possible. Like there's some change possible.
It is absolutely
and
possible.
With all of us, it's probable.
Yeah. Because I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing this.
If you didn't have
and
some
I'm
hope.
telling you, so many, BIPOC people wouldn't be doing what they're doing if they didn't have the hope that it is possible. But it's hard to have the conversation of unity because the master's tools, the empire wants us to be separated, but we're not going to get to the place that none of us have actually seen, but that fundamentally we all come from without doing it together.
And right now, a lot of people are hurting immensely. A lot. All Black people are hurting immensely right now.
And it's your time to hold space for that.
Amen. Shan.
Hi, guys.
So that was a heavy conversation.
It has been beautiful to be witness to it. I know before we went live, I asked you how you were both doing, and I know you're both running on fumes. And as you said, there's been so much trauma, so much heaviness, so many of these heavy conversations. I mean, people are having these in their homes with their friends via group text. I know my group text was blowing up with my friends over the past week of us in getting much deeper into these conversations than we have been before. So thank you both for doing this with us and putting your energy into the world to make this happen. I think I hope that you get to find some space for rest because it's so needed with all of the work that's been happening for you for a long time. But for a lot of people, just this past week has been an enormous amount of energy that no one could ever have rested enough to expend. So thank you both. Everyone knows where to find you. They must, if they haven't already, go listen to every single episode of the Opt-in. I know you've shared it this way, that it really is the on-ramp for a lot of people that are at the very beginning of their journey. There's no excuse at this point. There's so many resources available. They've been there and now they're front and center. And that includes the incredible conversations that you have.
And no shame, just opt in.
Yes, that's the biggest
No
thing.
shame. No, it just gets in the way.
It absolutely just gets in the way. Nothing positive comes from shame.
Yeah. I continue to just be blown away at how the two of you move through love. So thank you for sharing with us. I wanted to share with everyone, we made a little adjustment to our program at the beginning of this week, and we asked Kelly and Aurora to share their segment a little bit earlier with us so that we would have a lot of space in between this and our next interview to be able to have these conversations, to be able to have more time for reflection, and to engage with us about that. So this was very intentional and specific that you have to have space after listening to or having conversations like this to be able to, how do they say in the computer world, defrag, right?
Yes.
Like let everything settle and be, condensed down where it needs to be. So that's where we're going now, where you have 30 minutes between now, actually 35 minutes between now and our next interview. We have our coffee room / help desk open and team members there ready to engage in conversation, whether it's about this talk or about anything that people want to talk about right now. I really, I can't say thank you enough times to you both. I just literally can't. So I'll just keep saying it forever and ever. But thank you for being here.
Peace.
And thank you all for
thank
being
you.
a part of
you. Love you all.
All right. I'll see you both very, very soon. And I hope I'll see everyone over in our coffee shop right now.